Hi friends, happy Wednesday. Hope you're all doing well. So for science, this reading might be a little long today and I apologize. It's just in the textbook, but then you can do your Nearpod and it'll be the same thing, just, a little more simpler and a little more, I think, fun. So I'm going to get started right away, but today we're going to be learning about clouds and the different type of clouds. So at the end of today, I would like you to be able to identify different types of clouds. Pretty cool. I don't know if you knew, but there are different types of clouds. It's not just one cloud in the sky. So let's find out. Okay, so I'm going to move myself over here. Okay, so what causes clouds and precipitation? Well, we're not really going to focus on precipitation today. That'll be more tomorrow. You lie on your back looking up at the blue sky. Tiny wispy clouds drift along. Fluffy white clouds pile up and move quickly across the sky. Amazing! Their changing shapes seem to form pictures. Where do clouds come from anyway? So, clouds. Energy from the sun is needed for clouds to form. The sun's energy causes water in oceans, lakes, rivers, and puddles to evaporate or change from a liquid to a gas. So remember, the water that's in the oceans, the lakes, the rivers, and the puddles is evaporating. That means that the sun is beating down on the water, and the water is turning into water vapor, the gas form of water. Remember, we can't always see it. As you learned, warm air rises from the surface of the earth. As the warm air rises, it carries water vapor. Remember, gas form of water. The warm air cools as it rises. As it cools, water vapor in the air begins to condense as tiny drops of liquid water. The tiny water drops are so small that they stay in the air. These tiny water drops form clouds like the one in the picture. Okay, so my friends, so say we have a puddle and the sun's heat is beating down on it and the water is starting to evaporate into water vapor. So now it's in the air and it's getting higher and higher. As it gets higher off the ground and into the sky, the air is cold up top. All right, it's very cold up in the sky. So that water vapor now turns into water. It condenses. So it's condensation, just like the water on our glass that we talked about yesterday. And those tiny drops of water stay in the sky because they're so tiny and they don't weigh a lot, so they don't fall down yet. And as more and more drops come together, a cloud is formed. That's condensation, friends. So basically, condensation is when you're forming clouds. That's the part of the water cycle. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later in the week. But so try and picture it. You have a puddle. The invisible water vapor that we can't see is coming up. It evaporated. Now it's going to condense. It's going to turn back to water because the air is so cold. And those water droplets just sit there until they come together. And then they form a cloud. Since water vapor is needed to form a cloud, you will see many clouds in places where the air is very moist. That means it's a little wet, damp. In places where the air is dry, you will see fewer clouds. For example, you will not see many clouds over a desert. Deserts are very dry. We've talked about them. All right, types of clouds. So now we know how a cloud is made. Condensation. The water vapor turns back to water. All those water droplets come together. Boom, a cloud. Now, what kind of cloud is it? Types of clouds. If you walk along a lake on a cool morning, you might walk through a cloud. This kind of cloud is fog. Fog is a cloud that forms close to the ground. It may surround a hillside, hide part of a bridge, as in the picture, or even blanket the ground. Fog holds as much moisture as is possible without raining. And sometimes raindrops will fall from fog. Often fog forms during nights and mornings when moist air cools. Thick fog is very difficult to see through. So I'm sure, friends, you've woke up in the morning and there's been a bunch of, looks like it's really hard to see. It's foggy. It's very foggy out. That's fog. It's a cloud, actually. It's a very low cloud. And like the picture said, it holds as much water, as much of the rain it can without dripping out. Sometimes some do drip out, but it holds a lot of water. And you typically find it in the night or in the morning because the sun isn't really up or the sun hasn't been up for a long time. So the air is a lot cooler and it's more moist. It's wetter, the air. It's a little more damp, not dry like in the middle of June at 12 o'clock in the afternoon on a beautiful sunny day. You shouldn't see fog then. Clouds form in many shapes and sizes. Some clouds are tall and puffy, while others are long and thin. Some clouds are white, while others are dark. Knowing cloud shapes can give you clues about what kind of weather to expect. The clouds shown on the next page are the 3 basic types of clouds. Stratus clouds are low clouds that form flat, wide layers. Sometimes they cover the whole sky like a blanket and block sunlight. Sometimes they are a dull gray. Rain or snow may fall from these clouds. We're going to look at the pictures on the next page. So a stratus cloud, friends. They're very flat and wide, and they cover the whole sky. And usually when they're out, you can't see the sunlight. It's very dark out. The clouds tend to be dark, and usually when you see these types of clouds, it means some bad weather's going to come, whether it's rain or snow. That depends on the temperature. But before we look at that picture, this here, friends, do you see how it's hard to see half of the bridge? That's fog. The fog is actually covering part of the bridge. So sometimes you can see through fog and it's not so bad, but sometimes it's very, very thick or dense and it's very hard to see through. So this is fog, friends. So this is our stratus cloud that we just talked about. The dark clouds that cover the sky and you can't really see the sun. And you can usually predict bad weather with these types of clouds, friends. Stratus clouds. Now we're going to talk about cumulus clouds. Cumulus clouds form as warm, moist air moves high into the sky. They are often seen around midday or in the afternoon. When the air near the earth gets warm, cumulus clouds are often dome-shaped with flat bottoms. When you see cumulus clouds, it's a good time to plan a picnic. Cumulus clouds are often seen during fair weather. So let's come down and look at these. So these are like the fluffy clouds. These are the ones that when you see them, it usually means it's going to be okay weather. Okay? So like they said, you could plan a picnic because you don't really, if they're white, friends, if they're white clouds, then that means they're not really full with a lot of water, so it's not going to rain. Typically, it might a little bit, but usually it means for good weather. Okay, they're the fluffier clouds. Cumulus are fluffy. Stratus are very dark. Then you have cirrus clouds. Cirrus clouds are formed high in the sky where the temperature is very cold. They are formed mostly of ice crystals. Well, they're made of ice because think about it. They're up high where it's very cold. Cirrus clouds look like thin threads or feathers arranged in bands. They often move very quickly across the sky on bright sunny days. Cirrus clouds often mean that warm weather is on the way. So, our 3 clouds, these are the cirrus clouds. They kind of look like feathers. And they're usually moving fast across the sky on a sunny day, and they mean that warm weather is coming. These mean typically bad weather is coming. And if these cumulus clouds are white, that means good weather, but if they turn dark, get your umbrella because it's probably going to rain. Okay, so our 3 types of clouds. We have our stratus clouds, which are the dark ones that cover the sky with no sunlight. We have our cumulus clouds, which are the fluffy, nice ones, and if they're white, great day for a picnic. Good weather. And then you have your cirrus clouds, which are really high up, and they usually mean that warm weather is coming. All right, friends, I know that was a lot, and I'm really sorry, but now it's all again in a Nearpod, but a little bit easier, I promise. And I know you all are going to do an amazing job. Good job, friends. Bye.